How is everybody? Okay, I was gonna try to be on camera tonight, but the problem is that it's really hard to like set everything up in my room so that I can be on camera. So, does me being on camera matter that much? And if it does, is everybody like okay with me doing it more so like middle of the week in the daytime? Because then when my kiddo is at school, it's easier. Let me know in the chat, and which I'm trying to pull up on my computer right now. So, okay. Got that pulled up. I'm sorry that seems to be blurry. And can everybody hear me okay as well? Let me know. Hey, Sky, welcome. And welcome back to everybody. Hey, Danny. Hey, the breaking news. How are you guys? We'll get into it in a minute. I feel like even I go live multiple times a week in Patreon. I've just haven't been live on YouTube in like a year. Oh my God. It seems like forever, but it doesn't also seem like it's been a year. So, hey, Barbara. I'm good, thank you. Hey, Kelly. So, I missed you guys too. It was just so hard trying to balance everything out when we had to go to physical therapy and doctor's appointments multiple times a week. So, there's only one of me, and while I may have the same 24 hours a day and beyond as Beyonce does, I don't have Beyonce's assistants and management team. And that's why I kind of hate that saying anyways, because I'm like, yes, we do all have the same 24 hours in a day. However, we don't all have the same resources. And if I had 20 to 50 people that I could call on to like do other shit for me, I would probably be able to get a lot more done in my day, right? Hey, Robin. Hey, Nadine. So how this is going to work, guys, is I have some topics that are kind of, either relevant because they're super current or because I was like planning on reading them anyways for YouTube that we're going to go over. If you want to ask questions, stay on topic on the topics that we're talking about. If you want to make sure your question gets answered, you can always leave a super chat. At the end, I will let you guys know and we will take other questions. But just so we can stay on topic and not have it be a gigantic, disastrous shit show in the chat. Also, make sure you keep it respectful to not only me, but others in the chat as well. So we're going to look at Moneybagg Yo and Ari, if they broke up, and what's going on with the Repo'd car. Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles, because there's a lot of drama around that whole situation, because I saw people were saying like her and Harry Styles were hooking up before her and Jason. How do you say that guy's name? Is it Sudeikis? I hate butchering people's names. I think that's how you say his name, but they were saying that they weren't completely broken up yet. Then other people are saying it's a PR relationship for the movie. So we'll get into that. And then also people are saying that Leah Remini and Jennifer Lopez are no longer friends and that it has something to do with the whole Bennifer situation in the first place. So we'll take a look at that and how long is it going to take for them to break up this time? So, hey, Sheila. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Taku. Welcome, guys. And then, of course, if you guys have any follow-up questions about Nicki Minaj that I haven't covered as well. So he's a cutie. He reminds me so much of like the guys from like the Beatles type era, like that whole British invasion, you know, that they had back in like the whole like 60s, 70s thing. Like he feels like he fits in that time period. Hey, Miss Dramatica, how are you, my love? So, but he has a big ass fan base, man. I didn't realize that his album was like, and his songs and everything were like number one for like most of the year until Beyonce and Nicki came back and released new music. So I saw that too, Danny, and listen, this is just my assessment, not a psychic thing. It's just me being, you know, a human who likes to observe other humans and is a sociology student. I feel like some men like to date women who like have their ish together when they themselves do not, because it's like I'm gonna have to be, you know, like live a more straight and narrow life through osmosis because I'm with you, or like I can't screw around like that because you're not gonna put up with it. So that's gonna force me to have to like do the right thing finally. But anybody that's ever dealt with anything to do with leaving any sort of bad habit behind, whether it's a full blown addiction or not, you still have to do it for you. You know what I mean? Like you can't do it for someone, and you can't think anybody else is gonna like make you wanna be sober or whatever the situation is anyway. So it just always ends up backfiring. But that's what it feels like, because it's like, I don't know. I mean, especially if you're Mr. Party Animal, but then you always marry people like Jennifer Garner and Jennifer Lopez, who are not party animals themselves by any means. It's just like, that's how I always feel like why he ends up with girls like that. Hey, TC. Hey, Zay. Hey, Victoria. I don't know what you mean by like Mr. West. Listen, Kanye's just misunderstood. Honestly, I saw a comment earlier from somebody that said when Kanye is like behaving himself and hanging out with other Hollywood people and getting along with everybody, that's when you should be concerned about him. Not when people think he's having a manic episode, because that's when Kanye is just a real person. And I was like, yeah, would agree. If you're my Patreon, you know. So I'm good, babe. How are you doing? But so let me know, guys, is it really like super important for me to be on camera, or is this okay? Because everybody said it was fine if I was off camera, so that's why it's been easier for me to do video. Because having to look at all my equipment all the time and set it up is like takes half the freaking time it would. I mean, well, just as much time to set everything up and take it down and all of that as it is to just do the damn video. And that's why I was like, I would rather just sit down and do the freaking video and get it posted, or just go live, than have to like mess with lights and stands and all of that stuff. You know what? YouTube has been trying it with me lately, okay? I said this in my Patreon live earlier. If you guys ever see videos disappear off my page, I don't take anything down. I don't give a shit if I turned out to be wrong and something happened, this, you know, because at the end of the day, first of all, I'm translating messages from the Holy Spirit and God himself, so I'm not always going to be right because I'm a human. But secondly, sometimes people choose to do something different because you're talking about stuff that's off in the future anyway. So I don't really like trip off of that or anything. And I've had videos that like I was totally accurate in just like completely like disappear. They be shutting my shit off. They put my stuff on and I have to like approve most comments. I don't know why. but it happened after I posted my last Nikki video. But somehow my Carlos video didn't get demonetized. I'm like, what is your problem with Nikki and Kenny? Like, and I got in trouble for that. So, but so anyways, guys, again, what I'm going to do is we're going through already pre-chosen topics. We're going to start with if Moneybagg Yo and Ari Fletcher are broken up for good and what's going on with the car situation. If you have questions about that topic while we're on it, leave your questions. If you want to make sure your question gets answered, you can leave a super chat. If you'd like to donate, I'll put my Cash App information in the chat in a moment. But keep the questions on topic to the subjects that we're reading on. At the end, I will take whatever extra questions, so that way we can kind of keep things from being a big mess, because please remember, some people who are also watching and like to participate are neurodivergent, and it can be really hard when everybody is leaving off-topic comments while we're trying to talk about a different subject. So, well, that's true too, Miss Dramatica, but honestly, for most of it, it's just the fact of, like, I don't wear makeup or do my hair 99% of the time. Not gonna lie about that either. Like, the only time I really ever put makeup on or, like, real clothes on or do my hair is, like, if I'm on camera. But, it's just having to get ready to be on camera and then set everything up. I'm like, I could have done, like, 2 or 3 readings during that time. So I'd rather just do that and get it over with rather than mess with all of the other stuff. So anyways, I already covered Taku on a previous videos that I did about G Herbo and Ari and Taina in the first place. So you can go back to that one to get that question answered. I don't re-answer questions or topics that I've already previously looked at because I'd rather just get to new information. So let's see. Spirit, what can you tell us about Moneybagg Yo and Ari Fletcher and the current state of their relationship? What is going on there? Thank you. Listen, I'm one of the very few psychics that was even on the camera anyways. Most people weren't. So, and I will be here and there, like when I have the time to do it or I feel cute that day or I actually tried that day or something. But right now I'm just like, Plus, like I said, it's hard when I have to do it in my room because there's limited space anyways to do stuff. So it's easier if it's like during the middle of the week and the kiddos at school. We're talking about Ari and Moneybagg Yo. That's the thing too. Most of the time when people ask me like, oh, can you do a reading on this? I'm like, I've already done that anyway. Okay, so first thing that's coming up, the underlying energy, is he is so focused on building his career. This isn't somebody who's just in the rap game to have the fame, the money, the girls, the, whatever kind of stuff. He's actually one of the few people who's very business minded about this whole industry and doesn't get super caught up in the fame, sees it for what it is. And really, he's looking at like the longevity of his life. I have all these kids that I have to support. I want to build something for my kids, for my family, for my future. And so Spirit's saying because he's that serious minded, that was a big part of the problems that plagued this relationship because she really isn't. And at times, he felt like she was too caught up in the fame stuff and in the attention and in the like, get it as quick as you can while you're hot and don't worry about the future, like mindset. So it came down to a lot of like, he started just reevaluating stuff and asking himself, does this girl really align with what I'm trying to build for myself and my future? And is this somebody that I really feel like 5 years from now we can be retired on a farm counting our money, or do we have the same goals, and are you the kind of person that I need to settle down with? There's also something here about she's not honest with him all the time either, and it's not even, oh, like I was lying about like whatever was going on with me and my baby daddy. It's like literally like every like chance that she got, she lied to him about something. And to him, it's like, why are you lying about little shit? And then how am I going to trust you when it comes to big stuff? It is talking here about another person being involved, like on his end, but it didn't happen until him and her broke up. He already has somebody else, though, in the wings waiting. This is somebody that I don't feel like he's going to end up with in the long run, but it was more so like, there's this girl that's been around on my team, and she seems like, it's almost like, I'm trying to think of how to say it, because I feel like it's somebody that works with him, like an assistant or some type of like person on his team that he's already like sort of talking to and that he will date next. But it's more so a test for him because it's like, this girl is quiet. She's low key. She's about her business. She just shows up and does her work and keeps her mouth shut and goes home. And so it's more like, I got to test the waters and see, because I went from crazy ass Ari who twerks in the club, this quiet chick that nobody even ever hears speak, and trying to see like what fits best with me. Because the funny thing is, again, like I said earlier, he's not in this stuff like a typical rapper's mentality. He actually wants to settle down with somebody, spend the rest of his life with them, have a bunch of their, all their kids together, and just live a quiet life. Like, I go out, I work, I make a bag, and then I go home and nobody knows what the hell I'm doing when I'm by myself and I'm just chilling with my girl and my kids. So he's actually gonna getting married to somebody. It won't be the assistant. It's definitely not gonna be Ari. But give it a couple more years, like 2 to 3 more years, and we're gonna see Bag settle down with somebody. There's gonna be rumors about him going back to one of his baby mamas also, but I don't see him settling down with any of them. I see him being hella cool with some of his baby mamas, but I just don't see him like actually like being like, you stuck around the longest, you win the ring, anything like that. I do feel like it's going to be somebody completely different. Also, I keep feeling like the girl that he ends up with might be in the fashion industry, like a designer. She feels very similar to Kanye's first fiance, Alexis, where she was really pretty but kind of low key, but like had her own thing going on with fashion and styling. That's who I keep seeing. Somebody similar to that is who Bag ends up with. But Spirit said him and Ari are definitely done. So let's see. How is Ari taking this, Spirit? And what is the situation around this card? Thank you. Okay. Spirit saying, you know how when Ari got that Lambo, which I'll be honest with you, because I don't really I wasn't paying much attention to her. I don't really anyways. It ends up on the blogs that I look at. But I really wasn't paying any attention to her and like her whole situation when she got that truck that is now getting repoed. I just saw like how blogs were reposting the original post that she made when she got that car. And she did word things weird in a way that it was ambiguous, where it's like, well, I didn't outright say Bag got me that car, but you made it seem like he did. And Spirit is saying he got hella uncomfortable and didn't want her, like, making it seem like he got her that car in the first place when she did that anyways. Hey, Michael. Hey, Ronette. And so he was already like, why are you putting me in this and pinning this on me, like, if I didn't do something like that? And she was like, oh, I'm just trying to shit on these hoes. Don't worry. But, like, that got on his nerves so bad. He gave her some of the money that she needed to, like, put down to get it, but he didn't pay it, and he wasn't paying the monthly payments, is what Spirit is saying. Didn't she get, hi, Hira, didn't she get evicted too, Miss Dramatica? Hey, Mango. Or was that somebody else? Because I always be telling everybody, you know, like, don't fall for it, because a lot of these people online will make you feel bad about your life and call you broke. But meanwhile, everything that they have is rented. And so everybody was like, look at, you were right, because this person was getting evicted. But I thought it was her. Maybe it was another, you know, baby mama of a rapper that calls everybody broke that got evicted. But I thought it was her. Okay, so it was her. I was right. Because I was like, y'all know I don't even be knowing who these people are in the first place, so it's it's definitely hard to remember who's who. So okay, she totally did not see this breakup coming. Spirit saying she thought, like, oh, like, we're headed straight towards, like, the aisle. We're going to get married someday. And from her perspective, she feels like he just completely switched up on her all of a sudden and started acting different, and things were done. And Spirit is confirming that he's the one that ended the relationship. And of course, you know, and again, I'm not going to like shit on her, because as women, we all do this. You know, it's like, even like your boyfriend doesn't text you back right away and you're like, hey, he's cheating on me. So she does think like, oh, he's got somebody else and that's why he started acting different and that's why he left. Saying they had problems for a long time. It was never like the best relationship ever in the first place. It was just a lot more healthy than most of the relationships that she's had, but it was not healthier than most of the relationships he has had, is what Spirit is saying also. So that definitely played a part for him. And Spirit keeps saying, like, if she'd actually been paying attention within that relationship and to him, it wouldn't have been this big, oh, out of nowhere he changed. She just wasn't paying attention because she thought everything was fine and dandy and was just off doing her thing that she usually does. It's coming up here that, like, there was also a lot of, I don't have to save for a rainy day, or I don't have to live within a certain financial means of what I earn, because Bag pays most of the bills. Or if I go to him and say, Daddy, I'm short, I need this, this, and this, he'll always kick in and cover it. And so with Spirit saying it's not a surprise the second that they're done and he's not going to be paying for half of everything anymore, or most of everything, Because Spirit saying it's most of everything was what was really going on. Now she can't afford to live the same life that she was able to afford because he was the one with all the money. And yeah, she makes like a lot of fucking money. Like, don't get me wrong. It's just that did she make as much money as he does? No. And does she make as much money as she was spending? No. So now she's definitely got her back up against the wall. We're going to see her find herself another relationship real quick. Real freaking quick. Like, in her head, she really wants to go be a Carisha and get herself a Diddy. As in, I'll go be your public beard and you can pay me and that'll like help cover things over here. And then, because I'm bearding for you, we don't have to do anything. So it works out perfect. So she's going to be on the hunt to find herself a sugar daddy or a fake PR relationship or something like that to try to cover her side of things. But Spirit's saying she's made okay, listen, she makes enough money that she could afford her car payment and she could afford that rent payment. Would she have a shit ton of money left over so that she can go party all the time, buy all the jewelry that she wants, take her friends, to go to Jamaica and pop bottles of champagne on boats and all that kind of stuff? No. But she could have still managed to pay those things. It's that popping bottles of champagne in Jamaica with your friends was more important than making sure that your vehicle and the place that you live were secure. So, well, this is why you should never sit there and run around and tell people that they're broke, because money is such a circular energy that it's so easy to make, but it's also so easy to lose. And at any point in time, I mean, we've seen people who are literal billionaires go bankrupt. Like, you never know when life is going to hit you. God forbid you get in a car accident or you get sick and you can't work for a while or whatever. It's not like these people have sick insurance and vacation time accrued and stuff like that. And so when you just try to sit there and want to show off for the gram and tell everybody else that they're not good enough and that you're somehow better than them because you can live this rich life, well, that can be taken from you at any time. And especially if your rich life was really coming because of who you were dating, then girl, you really didn't have shit to brag about. Yes, guys, make sure you like the video too, please. So, if you guys have any other questions about Ari and Moneybagg before we move on to Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles? Oh my God, she came out with a makeup line. Well, that's not going to do very much. Like, why would anybody want to start a makeup line at this point in time? Because number one, it's such an oversaturated market, and I think everybody is just over the whole idea of like celebrity makeup lines and brands anyways. But then on top of it, you're competing with people like Ariana Grande and Selena Gomez and Rihanna, who have the capability to use any lab, come out with amazing formulas and packages. They obviously already have their deals with Sephora and Ulta to sell in store and all that. Like, I wouldn't even want to think, like, oh, yeah, I want to go compete with them. Because you're not going to get anywhere with it. And it's the thing is, I think that everybody thinks, like, oh, Rihanna became a billionaire off of it, so, like, I can too. But the thing is, Rihanna was doing this before everybody else popped out. Number one. And number two, it fits Rihanna's brand. And number three, she came into the game innovating things. That's why Fenty really blew up the way that it did, because her first drop was, I have more foundation shades than any other brand has ever came out with, so I can make sure that the darker skinned girls can actually be able to go buy makeup in their shade. Nobody had ever done that. So that was the difference. Like, if you're just Ari Fletcher and you're like private labeling shit, you're not going to make that much money. How many fans does she really have? Not only buy this stuff, but then love it so much that you're going to keep going back and buying more of her products and repurchasing and all of that. Like, it's not going to happen. So that's why it's like it was smart of Rihanna, because she jumped on that when nobody else was really doing it. The only other person that was doing it was Kylie Jenner, and nobody takes her seriously. I mean, from the most reason, and I've said this before, I think like most of Kylie's sales, especially in the beginning, were like people from YouTube that wanted to review it. Like, I don't even think like it was real people that actually were like, I want a lip kit, that were even buying that stuff. I think it was literally like Jeffree Star and Manny MUA who wanted to go like be the first ones to put out review videos that were the ones that were selling out all of her launches. And see, I would buy stuff from Tay before I would buy it from Ari. Like, if Tay came out with, honestly, this is what Tay should do. Tay should come out with a line of bright colored hair dyes, and then his own version of the overtone shampoos and conditioners that you can use to maintain it. And then come out with like wigs and extensions, and then you can teach people like even like how they can use your hair dyes on your wigs and extensions to change up the looks, because something like that would like that I would totally buy. I wouldn't buy anything that Ari Fletcher is putting out. I don't care if everybody's like, this is the best mascara, lipstick, blush, or whatever that ever existed in life. I would still be like, yeah, but she made it, so I'm okay. That's what I always say. I'm like, I am better at this marketing shit than most of these people are, because I always say this. Why did Kris Jenner come out with cleaning supplies? Why wasn't that Khloe? They literally talk about Khloe being OCD. She should have came out with a line of fucking little clear plastic organizers for drawers and some little cleaning spray that smells good. That would have made way more fucking sense. Nobody thinks that bougie ass Kris Jenner is cleaning anything, much less her own fucking house. So I didn't even know that J.Lo came out with a booty bomb. I mean, the fact that what do you call that J.Lo came out with skincare and she tries to say that olive oil is her secret ingredient and not actual Botox and facelifts, like everybody like assumes that you would have had at 50 years old in Hollywood by now. If you guys don't remember, in like 2017, 2018, I think, there was this huge thing in the skincare world about olive oil. and then to a certain degree, coconut oil as well, because they were saying that they make your skin more photosensitive, so you're more likely to develop skin cancers and sun damage. Like if you use skincare products that had those oils in them and went out in the sun. And so they were telling people not to use olive oil in skincare, or like to only use it in products that you use at night. And there was a whole thing like olive oil is really great for you internally, but not so much externally. And like don't use it as moisturizer. Just put it on your salad instead or whatever. And then she comes out with her whole olive oil thing like a year later. I was like, girl, then all the doctors just tell us the olive oil is gonna fuck up our skin, and now you're telling us it's like this hero savior product. So I think she's still selling the cleaning stuff though, because I just saw like something about it recently. That's basically what they were saying, Mimi, is that coconut oil and olive oil, like it can have benefits for your hair and scalp, or like eating it internally or whatever, but like when you put it on your skin, it's basically like, and then you go out in the sun, you're basically frying it. So, but I've heard that coconut oil works to whiten the teeth. I already use whitening toothpaste, so when I do oil pulling, it's more just about strengthening my teeth than it is. I can't tell you, like, was it my toothpaste or my coconut oil that like whitened my teeth more. But I mean, I drink coffee and tea all the time, and my teeth are not yellow, so one of them works. So, alrighty, guys, let's move on to Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles. Yeah, I saw that Frank Ocean thing. Oh my God. And it was like, it wasn't one of them like $25,000 because it was made of solid gold or something. And I was just thinking, really, $25,000 for something that you're going to get pee on? Like, it's bad enough when it's like a Birkin and people are like, I got a $25,000 Birkin. And I'm always just like, listen, I know real Birkins can be investment pieces, but like, I would never want to put $25,000 into something that I leave my house with unless it was a car, because then you don't really have an option, obviously. But like, I don't want to walk around on the street with a purse that's worth $25,000 that somebody can fucking spill coffee on or like steal or gets dirty or something. Much less what I want a ring down there where you pee and all your stuff comes out of, that's made out of something that costs that much. So, Bag's not going to go broke. He's actually really smart with his money. So, but a lot of these people, a lot of these celebrities are really just broke when it comes down to it. And that's why, because, I mean, Chloe Bailey, that was it Genius? She did some interview where she was talking about how, basically like these artists are forced to have to go outside of the music industry doing things like endorsements and whatnot in order to make any money, because there's no way to do that within the music industry anymore, because between having to pay for all of the things that you have to pay for as an artist, and I mean, isn't Spotify paying people like 1/8 of a penny in royalty payments? It's like there's not really a whole lot of money to be made off of music for a lot of these people. It's kind of sad, actually. Well, when you're in a 360, you're definitely not getting any of that. Well, I posted the article before in my Patreon, but there is an article out there. It was a free article. Uh, I found it. I came across it on Yahoo or something, but they were basically talking about like rich people buy the really like well done Nos bags because and they were literally talking to people in this article who were like billionaires or came from really old money and they were saying what I just said, like why would you take $5,000 purse out into the street where anybody can spill something on it, rip it, do whatever, you know, so they wear fakes and invest their money instead, or they'll go buy like a Picasso instead of a Birkin and wear fake Birkin owls. And they have whole parties about it and everything. They have people that go to China multiple times a year just to source these bags for all these like Fifth Avenue rich people. So and this is the thing, when Cardi posted that picture where she was surrounded by like 500 Birkins in every color, Hermes don't even make that many Birkins per year. That was what was the reason why they were so expensive and it was so exclusive to get one because they only made like 10 a year. And now supposedly they've just like upped it to where like they make that many per day and all these celebrities have a brand new one every other week within a different color. Like that doesn't even make sense and tells you that most of them have to be fake because they're just that's not possible for people to have that many of them. So listen, and I've heard that Beyonce only signed Joey and Halle for like, didn't she give them like a really low advance? Exactly. Listen, I have bags from Aldo that look exactly the same as Birkins, and I did not pay more than $50 for any of them. So it's like I'm cool with that because they're cute for $50. They're not that cute for $50,000. Okay. Just like I was saying that earlier today, I'm like, some shit be cute when it's cheap, but when it's like a higher price, it's like, oh, it's not that nice. It's just okay. So, wow. Alrighty. First thing was it 1 million? Because I read somewhere that it was like $100,000. And 1 million for 6 albums is like so freaking low and small. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. It's a loan, a very high interest loan. Okay. All right. So going on to Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles. First thing, Spirit's on one tonight because the very first thing that comes up in the underlying energy was that she comes up as the Queen of Swords caught in between the Knight of Cups and the Emperor, as in, you know, there was definitely overlap between the two relationships. And Spirit is saying Olivia doesn't handle anything well especially when it comes to handling any kind of like adversity, or I have to like do something that's uncomfortable. I have to leave a relationship or a friendship or whatever. It's always What does Olivia want first and foremost? She's going to do that and expect everybody to be okay with it. And if they're not, try to find a way to make herself out to be the victim so that she doesn't have to be responsible for it. And there's like, it feels like, because you can't necessarily say it's grooming of any sort, because obviously, how old is Harry Styles? I know Olivia Wilde's like, what, 40 or close to it? How old is Harry, though? He's not that young, right? I don't know why I always want to think he's like 18, but then like Spirit's like, no, he's older than that. But there's still an age discrepancy. She was the producer and director of the film. And Spirit keeps talking about there being a lot of like manipulation of somebody who is a confusing place in their life. I'm not in the business of outing people or any of that kind of stuff. I think that he definitely is fluid, but hasn't really figured out for himself what that looks like, what he's comfortable with, what box or term or whatever he wants to identify with. And then of course, like it or not, it affects people's careers. And so Spirit's talking about there being this questioning of self and trying to figure out where's my place and where do I fit in. And when you're faced with, you might have to take this alternate route. And even though probably half of your fans are your fans because they think that you identify the same way that they do, there's still that other half you may alienate. I'm trying to be careful about how I say things respectfully and, for algorithm sakes. And here comes somebody like, oh, if you date me, then you don't have to come out, or you don't have to define your sexuality, or it's a distraction from people who want you to finally put a label on yourself. And so it's like, if I'm already struggling with it and I don't know what to do, and then here comes this girl being like, let's be in a relationship, and it's like, oh my God, how easy. I can be in a relationship and then people get off my ass for a while. I'll do that. And so with her, she actually legit thinks that she's going to end up married to this guy. That is not at all what is going to happen. Honestly, Spirit keeps talking about he's going to walk away from this relationship very damaged. He is, not her, him. She's manipulative anyway. I think we've all seen that with a lot of the stuff that has come out about her recently, because people were saying that her and I don't know who this girl is because I don't watch movies and TV. That's why I know like far more of like music people. But her name is Florence. Do you say it Pugh? That's how I heard other people saying it. Who's also in this movie. I guess like she's the leading lady and Harry's man, from what I've gleaned from reading and listening to stories about this. Apparently she had issues with Olivia's behavior, both with the fact that this girl was dating Zach Braff, who I guess is friends with Jason, and then also with the fact that it's like, okay, so you're cheating on my boyfriend's friends. That's awkward. And now you're also like running around making out with each other on set instead of working. And so there's that aspect. There's everything that came out where apparently she lied about firing Shia and he quit. So Spirit's saying she's definitely trying to hold on to this relationship as a distraction and a cover up for everything that's, going on right now. as far as all the stuff that she's been getting outed as and being exposed for. I don't feel Harry wanting to get out of the relationship because he wants to distance himself from her and being like, oh my God, I don't want everybody to like start hating on me because I'm dating this crazy girl who lied about Shia LaBeouf or did these other, things or whatever. It's more so he feels like she's really controlling. So that's actually what's going to end up breaking them up, is him wanting to get out from under her control. Coming up that he will date a man next. I don't see it being public though. At least not until like the very end of that next relationship. Then we might be like, oh, Harry has a boyfriend, and then it's all of a sudden it's like, oh, and now they're broken up. But he is gonna date a man after this, is what Spirit is saying, and it's almost like, oh, she was so toxic that she pushed him into being like, well, since I'm fluid anyways, I'm gonna be done with women for a while because that one really messed my head up. So she's definitely taking advantage of him and manipulated him into this relationship. Also, Spirit saying she told him a lot of untrue things about her relationship with Jason. It gives real Amber Heard vibes, if you know what I mean. And Spirit's like, Jason Sudeikis was not in any way, shape, or form any of the things that she has described him to be to other people, nor was he doing any of the things that may have told Harry or other people. She's been going around and just trying to kind of smear him to make herself out to be a victim. Part of that was trying to activate the Captain Save-A-Hoism in Harry so that he'd want to date her and protect her. Because, think about it. It's like, I think maybe a small part of her was like, well, this is how Megan Fox ended up with Machine Gun Kelly. She came out of this bad marriage and he wanted to be all like the protector and savior of her from whatever she went through in her marriage. And I think Olivia was trying to, do the same with Harry. And it worked to an extent. But Spirit is saying he's going to get out of this situation because he's going to get to the point where it's like, there is so much constant drama with you. And I don't really like you that much anyways, so this is like way too much. So let me just see how this movie is going to do. Because now I heard that, like, with everything that's going on, not only with whatever happens with all the Shia stuff that's come out, but I've heard really mixed reviews about the movie. They said Florence Pugh doesn't want to really like promote it because she was mad that she felt like the trailers were like making it like it was like a big deal about like the one or two sex scenes that were in the movie, and she's like, that's not the movie I signed on to be in. I wasn't trying to play this like overly sexual character or anything. And it's taking away from the story because you're sensationalizing that Harry Styles has a sex scene in a movie. So it's kind of a mess. I have no idea, Mimi. I have heard so much about this damn movie and I can't tell you what this movie is supposed to be about. All I know is Harry Styles, supposedly has some sex scenes in it, and then there was a bunch of drama on this side. He had an affair with the director. Now, her and her, what is he, ex-fiance? Because I don't think her and Jason were married, but they have kids together. Now, they're in a custody battle. Her and the actress don't get along. She apparently lied about somebody else that was supposed to be in it. I'm just like, I don't even know what the movie is about, so I can't tell you if I would or wouldn't even want to watch it. Because all I hear about is drama, drama, drama. Well, do you notice that it's a lot of women who have jumped on board of other movements or taken advantage of other situations that have been going on? That it's like, oh, the Me Too movement is going on. Guess what? I had my own Me Too movement too, and it was with this person. And it's like, if they're not, just because somebody did one bad thing doesn't mean they did every bad thing. And then people jump to believe that. But, like, let's use Chris Brown as an example. Every freaking 6 months, that man has some kind of allegations against him. And just as quickly, they always turn out to be untrue. But yet, again, 6 months from now, mark my words, somebody's going to say they were at some party and Chris Brown tried to do something to them. And then it's going to come out, oh, this girl's a clout chaser. She has mental problems, or she said she was just doing it for a social experiment for her TikTok or whatever. And so it's a lot of those types of situations that is just basically, people are getting exposed for. But I will say this, it doesn't, Megan Thee Stallion should be shaking in her boots because Kenny Petty's he's been exonerated. And if anybody doesn't want to give him credit for that at this point, you just want to be stuck on hating that man. And I feel sorry for you. Chris Brown, Trey Songz, had a bunch of shit. That lawyer, it turned out that she was going around trying to bribe people because she wants the clout of, being like, oh, I took down these celebrities. Amber Heard. It's like now Olivia's Wilde, got exposed for lying about Shia. So it's not looking good for you, Megan, because we all know you lied. We're just waiting for everybody else to catch up with us. And usually I'm not like the other girls, kind of girls are usually the most annoying and the most, like, problematic. So, listen, I feel so bad for Kenny. I mean, they charged him. He was a 15-year-old kid. And it's like, I look at, because a lot of my neighbors where I live, because there's a bunch of families over here and whatnot, a lot of my neighbors have boys that now I'm like, oh my God, like I was looking at one of them the other day and I'm like, even though this kid is literally like a foot taller than me, and I know he just turned 15, he has a girlfriend too. And I just kept thinking, like, you still seem like such a baby to me though. Like, I can't imagine you going to grown man prison. But yet, Kenny Petty did, and he's like fucking smaller than you are. As a grown adult, he's smaller than this 15-year-old kid that I'm looking at thinking about that. And it made me so sad because he was a baby. He's a little kid still. And he went to Rikers Island, of all places, with grown-ass adult men. Like, it's just really, like, how do you live with yourself, janitor? And then you had to spin the block to try to ruin his life again. Like, it wasn't bad enough the first time you did that shit to him, because it was not just Kenny had to go to Rikers Island. Obviously, Kenny had to join a gang to survive, so that changed the whole course of his fucking life. And after that, he's had to register everywhere he lives. People do not hire people who have to register. They don't rent to you. Like, you ruined that whole man's life, and then the second that you think, like, oh, he's going to go be happy and finally have a chance at some good karma for all the shit you put him through, you have to go try to ruin it again. She's a fucking monster. And I'm not going to sit here and apologize or be nice to her. I don't call her by her name because she doesn't deserve it. And you know what? I started calling her janitor because somebody said that's the job that she had. And I really, I thought like, oh, that was her job or whatever. But no, she is the janitor because she needs to go clean up the fucking mess that she caused in somebody else's life because it's only fucking right at this point. He has suffered for 25 freaking years because of her. Exactly. I hope Kenny does sue the shit out of her because it would not be hard at all for Kenny to prove that he's obviously lost a hell of a lot of income over the years because of the shit that she has said about him. Because nobody's going to hire you if they can't let you be around half of your freaking customers. So it's just, but that's why, like, I don't feel bad. I mean, and going back to Olivia, okay, Shia has admitted, if you guys didn't see this, and he literally just did again recently, the whole video is on Popcorn Planet if you want to go look it up, because they released all of the emails and text messages and stuff that was going back and forth between him and Olivia. And Shia's admitted that whatever, things did happen between him and FKA Twigs. And the thing is, just because he's admitted that he did one thing does not mean that he did all these other bad things. And that's what, like, sucks, because when people are being like, yes, I'll be accountable for that shit, then everybody wants to just lie and pin other stuff on them. But the thing is, I'm like, if he's admitting, like, what he supposedly did to FKA Twigs was pretty fucking bad, okay? And if he's willing to admit that, but then it's like, no, I wasn't acting like an asshole on set and you just made that up, I would think that he would be much more likely to be like, I never did anything to FKA Twigs, but you're right, I was such a fucking asshole on set, and want to claim that part of the story. I mean, I'm just saying, if you're going to own up to some shit, I would own up to the least worst of it all. But I hope he sues her too, because she was trying to use him to build up publicity and PR and interest in this movie. And the thing is, you have Harry Styles in a sex scene in the movie. People were going to go and watch it. You didn't need to throw Shia LaBeouf under the bus to do it. So, listen, if anybody who's in my Patreon knows, I always say I give a lot of grace to anybody who was a childhood star, because just listening to this shit that, like, Jeanette McCurdy has come out with and said, or Alexa Nicholas, do you think that those were isolated events that only happened to those poor little girls on set? Or do you think that, and Alexa always says that she was lucky because her mom was one of those moms that did hang out on set all day long. And if her mom had to go to work or was, like one of those parents who got believed and was like, okay, I'll just drop my kid off to work every day or whatever, it would have been even worse for them. So I always feel bad because I feel like, these poor kids went through hell. So that's it. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence why all of these child stars end up with addictions or mental health issues as they get older. And Allison Stoner has a good series on her channel where she's broken down a lot of that stuff too, and like really like the toll it takes on them as kids and what it really does to them, and why acting for kids is like such a not good thing for them to be involved in. So, but I didn't know any details about Shia and his mom. I'll have to look into that. He's such a good actor. Well, I'm certain that, Harry and all the rest of those kids, just I listen, just because he's in the music industry and he wasn't a Disney kid, anything that goes on in this industry is weird shit first and foremost, regardless. But secondly, it's not only isolated to the Disney kids. I think all child stars go through some sort of craziness, whether they end up in a boy band, they're in movies, whatever. So the crazy thing is, okay, because I was just joking saying, like, well, people go watch the movie anyways because Harry Styles is in it and he's got sex scenes in it. And it's like all of the, like, One Direction teen girls' fantasies, like, come true finally. Because I'm sorry, but I just imagine that, like, the One Direct, like, what was their fan base called? They were fucking crazy for them, too. I remember that. They're probably even the ones that are no longer crazy fans of One Direction. Spirit's like, just for, like, the nostalgia of 15-year-old me thought Harry Styles was, like, the best thing ever, would go to watch this movie just for that reason. But this all is taking away from that. It really comes up as like 50-50 on how people are going to review it. I feel like it's going to be a lot of curiosity and nostalgia views more than like actual, like, man, that looked like a great movie and I wanted to go see it kind of views. And then Spirit's talking about people will praise certain parts of it, like Florence did a great job with her acting, or Harry really surprised everybody and did a better job than we thought he would. But it was poorly directed, or the script was horrible, or it seemed like the people, like, the characters, like, couldn't stand each other. So they will definitely pick it apart. Hey, Monica, how are you? Wait, what teacher movie? I'm trying to think, like, what was the last J.Lo movie that I watched? I remember watching enough, and then the one with Jane Fonda, Monster in Law. I don't think I've watched any movies with her in it since then, though. You know what, Robin? Um, I think it goes back to number one. They have to find a way to make money. Um, Outside of music. And I think that some people think, like, oh, well, because I have to perform in my music videos, or I have to get up on stage and perform every night, or even I think a lot of people, probably did do musical theater and stuff like that, like growing up, if they really wanted to, like, get into the industry at some point. So I think it just makes them think, like, oh, it'll be the exact same, no big deal, I'll just go do that too. And then it's like, no. J.Lo and J.Lo were in Hustlers, right? That's what we call Carlos. J.Lo, J.Lo, because she's the knockoff J.Lo. So, was it good? I saw it like get recommended to me on, was it on Hulu or was that on HBO Max? I can't remember, but I remember like it got recommended to me and I stuck my thing on like my reminders or like whatever to watch later, and then like I just saw everybody like saying like it was bad, so I was like never mind, and I never bothered. So hey, Mrs. NBA to you. Oh, I'm not taking requests, Monica. I don't do that. We picked the topics ahead of time, so we're just reading on the pre-chosen topic. So, does anybody have any other questions about Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles before we move on to J.Lo, Bennifer 2.0, the whole Leah Remini situation? I just kept seeing all of the like clips of like, because all the clips that they kept showing was basically like J.Lo on the stripper pole. And then I just remember like a lot of like, oh look, Lizzo's in the movie too, and so is Cardi, and so is this or that person. But I didn't see anything else. Um, Listen, there are certain people that I have to be spiritually protected. Immediately have the chance to go cleanse myself spiritually right afterwards when I read on them. And Jay-Z and Beyonce are on that list. Alrighty, let's see. Let me see. Is Olivia gonna try to have a baby with Harry? Spirit said no. Spirit said she would try to, like if she felt like she could make him. He does not want any kids anytime soon, and especially with her. And this is the thing, I don't think I don't think that she would right now, only because she's got to fight, like, this other custody battle that she has going on with, the older kids. And then on top of it, she's, it's like, I know that that would probably actually, like, cause more problems in the relationship. Because this is the thing. Yes, you can trap people with a baby sometimes. But sometimes you just know too, like if we had a kid, this would run that person off more than it would make them want to stay with me. And that's the sense that she gets. So she just doesn't want to uh, do all that. Oh no, let me tell you something. Nobody needs to go to whoever Beyonce goes to for spiritual work unless you want to die. Wendy Williams needs to go to people who dabble in the light, not dark. Hold on one second, guys. Come on. You want to come in? So, yeah. So it's like, if you want the truth about all that stuff, you can go to my Patreon. Always join Patreons at the beginning of the month. I have no say so in that, but Patreon, the platform, charges again at the first of the month, regardless of when you join. So whether it's my Patreon or anybody else's, you always want to join at the beginning of the month. Yeah, Yay's People is who you should go to. So let's see. Let's get to J.Lo and Leah Remini, so that way I can still have some time before I have to get off of here and be able to do any extra questions, because I have to do a reading at 8:30, so I have to get off by then. So let's see. Spirit, what is going on with Jennifer Lopez and Leah Remini's friendship? Thank you, Spirit. Okay, listen. I've seen on blind sites where it has been alleged that J.Lo and Leah Remini were really in a relationship with each other, and they're not just best friends, but that it's more of a Whitney Houston, Robin Crawford type situation. And now, everybody's alleging that they're not friends with each other right now. So, yeah, if you guys really just only want, gossipy type stuff, stay on YouTube. Don't join Patreon for that, because especially I'm making it more and more of a spiritual community going forward. So we just had to get through the darkness so that we can start focusing on the light, because you have to understand everything that's going on to then move on to the next step. So that's why I was like, I don't know. I never really got that vibe from them. There's some people where I'm just like, y'all's really fucking, but okay, well, I'll let you pretend like you guys are best friends. But, I've never got that vibe from the two of them for some weird reason. I mean, I could be completely wrong, and the cards are going to say something else, but did you get scissor sisters out of them? Because I don't know why I just can't see that. And I can't see J.Lo herself being like, yeah, I'm going to strap it on tonight or any of that. I feel like she really likes men liking her. Well, they look a lot alike, too. So there's that, Okay, there's definitely a break of sorts that is going on in this friendship, relationship, whatever you want to call it. See, this is the thing that is coming up first and foremost, is it's not just about whatever Jennifer's got going on in her romantic life or whatever. Oh, hold on a second. Let me open the door again. Come here, baby. Go out with brother. Go on. Come back. Go on. Because I have to close the door. Okay. Looks like that's the Patreon mascot, Kitty Whitney. So anyways, what Spirit's talking about is, in a sense, Leah Remini basically went on a big spiritual journey when she left Scientology. And her life has obviously changed a lot since then, right? Because not only did she have to leave behind, all of her beliefs and everything that she thought she knew and all of the people that she had built relationships with within the church over all those years, But Spirit is saying it changed a lot for her, just as a person and who she sees herself as. And so there's a lot that she has been reevaluating in her life and seeing, like, do the people around me match who I even am? Because, it's Spirit saying she became friends with Jennifer Lopez while she was in the middle of that. Basically, it was a cult. And because of that, it's like I met you when I was indoctrinated into all this like bullshit. Now I'm a different person and I see everything for what it is. And that means I also see you for what you are. So, yeah, there was a lot of things that she didn't always agree with when it came to Jennifer's life in general. But really, what Spirit is saying is, because it keeps coming up around the Six of Cups, it was more so about, I like the way that you are including your kids in all of the like switch ups that you have in your romantic life. Like, it's one thing if you want to be the girl that like gets engaged every other week before you had kids, but you're on like the fifth dude that your kids have gotten attached to at this point. Now it's getting ridiculous, and now I'm going to have to say something. Because there's an actual Tower card that comes up too. So what Spirit's saying is there was a big fight and there is a big break that is happening in this relationship, but it wasn't about Ben really. It was more like, you keep dragging all these men into your kids' lives, and what are you gonna do? Like, you're fucking them up. Like, at least like make sure before you start involving everybody. So you know what? I forgot that she had her kids around, A-Rod, that Casper dude. So, yeah, she's definitely had a lot of men around those kids. And it doesn't matter if, each one stuck around for 3 or 4 years. Your kids are going to look at it and think back to, my mom had 5 boyfriends from the time that her and my dad broke up before I even turned 18. And every couple years I had a new stepdad. I had a new a new set of step siblings. Like, talk to anybody that grew up in that kind of a life. They all have problems and they're all not doing well, They're all in therapy because mom had 5 husbands. So, yeah, they had a falling out. They will end up making up, though, because Spirit's saying Leah Remini genuinely does love Jennifer Lopez as a person and as a friend. And what she said in her opinions came from love. She wasn't doing it to be like, girl, you're being a hoe. Knock it the fuck off. I'm judging you just because I don't think you're a stuck up bitch or anything like that. It was literally, I said this out of love because I see your kids and my nephew, and I see that it's going to be a problem for them. So, all right, now let's take a look at Bennifer. What do we need to know about the marriage between Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck? Thank you. I thought like that whole like, we ran to go get married in Vegas, then went on a honeymoon, then came back and got married again and went on another honeymoon thing was a little odd. I mean, I know at some point you have to do the legal marriage, but like if you are already going to get married in a month, anyways, like why would you rush to go to Vegas and do that first? it felt like she was trying to hurry up and like make sure they got married before he could change his mind. Is how I kept like picking it up energetically. Okay, first thing first. Anybody in my Patreon knows I've been saying this. This man has fallen off the wagon so hard. No judgment. We do not shit on people for having an addiction issue because that is a mental health issue. And the more that we recognize it as a disease and a symptom of mental health issues, the more that we won't have so many addiction problems. So it's saying that, we're just acknowledging because it does play a part in things. And we, the truth over here. So he's definitely not only fallen off the wagon, but deeply. Doesn't he go gambling with her mom? Because there's like, it's talking about here, every single addiction I have, I fell back into. And it's like, he's in that dangerous space that addicts can be in where it's like, okay, I binged all weekend and then I was good all week. And then you slip up again on the weekends and then you fight all week to stay good. And then you do it all over again on the weekends because that always ends up turning into full blown every fucking day I'm in a binge. And he doesn't only have one addiction, this man. You know, there's alcohol, there's gambling, there's cigarettes, there's cheating, there's other stuff that, you know, I don't want to say risking in trouble for over here. Everything on this live is allegedly for entertainment purposes only anyways. But Spirit is saying he really fell deep into all of his addictions again. And he is trying his hardest not to let it overtake him the way that it has in the past. And this is the thing. I know people are like, oh, you seem like you don't like him or this or that. Listen, I have a hard time believing that somebody who was on Tinder trying to hook up with college students 2 weeks before getting back together with their 50-plus-year-old ex-girlfriends is really fucking serious about that relationship. Okay? If it was like Ben Affleck was like trying to hook up with other people his age on Tinder right before he got back together with J.Lo, then I would be like, okay, he was just really looking for his person and to settle down and then timing aligned. And but you do not sit there and you're trying to hook up with 20-year-olds and then go back to your ex-girlfriend from 17 fucking years ago right after that if you're not just out here doing God knows what the fuck. Like, let's be honest. Maybe it was Rhea. I don't know. You know, so it's the whole thing is like either way, you were freaking DMing people on Instagram and being like, why did you unmatch me? It was really me. Because remember, like, that's how everybody found out because these girls were like, I thought I was getting punked or somebody was trying to catfish me pretending to be Ben Affleck, so I unmatched, and then he found me on Twitter or Instagram and like DM'd these girls videos and being like, you were really talking to me. And then literally 2 weeks later, you and J.Lo are back together and it's like the lifetime like fairy tale event that we all should be invested in. And that's why I'm like, this is shit. Like, I'm not going to sit here and just like fall for this bullshit, okay? He already was regretting all of this. There's something here about Jennifer paid off some of his debts. he has money that he owed to people that he should not have done deals with, because it's like, I bet on a horse, but I bet against the mob boss and I lost. And so now I have to pay them back before they come and break my legs, like that kind of stuff. And she's just like, here. Because Spirit is saying she's so desperate that she feels that, number one, I mean, let's be honest, Jill is full of herself. She always has been. Now she's in her 50s in a business that prioritizes youth. The guy that you were with and that you were supposedly getting married to got busted cheating on you with reality stars from Bravo shows. So, what is the best way for her to go back and say, hey, guess what? I am desirable after all, is to reignite the greatest love story ever, the whole Bennifer, thing, because opportunities were drying up. You're getting cheated on. You're trying to still sell yourself as a hot commodity. You're not ready to hang it up yet. So if it brings all this attention and it gets everybody talking about me again and invested in me in my life again, I'm going to look the other way, or even give you money or whatever it is that you need so that you can do whatever you need to do and I can stay in the spotlight with the illusion of happiness. Because it's coming up as illusion of happiness and not actual true happiness. Because it's actually miserable from both of them. She's obviously not fulfilled, and he's just struggling. Just struggling every which way. He's struggling with his choices. He's struggling with all the attention that this wedding has been bringing to him in this relationship. It was perfect timing for the both of them to rehab their images and to sell themselves as, this like, oh, we love each other so much and all this kind of crap. But nobody cares that much. I mean, did you see the first time around when they broke up, they got way more press than this wedding? I saw people talk about the wedding for about 5.5 seconds. And then everybody moved on to talking about some other thing that probably mattered even less. But, it's just like, we, the public, do not care. He's going to get caught cheating on her, you guys. Don't forget, their relationship ended last time because he got caught cheating on her with strippers at his bachelor party. And then they tried to lie and tell everybody that it was because of all of the, paparazzi attention, and it was just too much, and the media was in their business all the time, and blah, 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 as whatever reason why they ended up, breaking up. But he cheated on her the last time. He's going to do the same thing again. Because Spirit's saying he is on a self-destructive path. And this is what, again, it's not uncommon for people who have the same issues as him to find themselves in these phases. But this is also his go-to in what he does. He goes along with situations, then he keeps up the facade, then he's unhappy with it, then he spectacularly has to sabotage everything by going and getting caught cheating with strippers at your bachelor party, or remember Jennifer Garner, it was the nanny, and then it also came out. Oh, well, he wasn't just cheating on her with the nanny. He also blew through a bunch of their money gambling And he also had fallen off the wagon and was drinking like crazy. So then, on top of, her marriage falling apart, she also had to go take him to rehab. It's going to be the same thing all over again with these two. I give it 18 months top, but I think we are going to see him either in October or 10 months from now, rehab. If I'm just going to be nice and give it longer than I think it's going to take for it all to spectacularly blow up. So, and this is the funny thing, is that Spirit said Jennifer Lopez is going to go to Jennifer Garner to try to get her to help. And Jennifer Garner is just going to be like, that's your problem now. Like, I've cleaned this man up so many times for the sake of our kids and it doesn't work. I'm not doing it anymore. Because I just keep seeing, like, Jennifer Lopez being like, wait, what the fuck? Like, I gotta clean up this mess all by myself. Like, girl, like, you're supposed to be like, hey, girl, you're the stepmom and I'm the real mom. Like, let's be cool together, and try to, like, do the right thing. But Jennifer Garner is just in a place, honestly, where Spirit's saying she is so exhausted by Ben Affleck and his shit. She did not care about him and J.Lo getting together. Because this is the thing. I don't know why everybody's making a big deal about it in the first place anyways. He never left Jennifer Garner for Jennifer Lopez. He ran straight to Jennifer Garner after he broke up with Jennifer Lopez. And, her and him have been divorced for a while now. Like, what? It's been a good long while. But Spirit's saying they've both already seen each other in other relationships between now and then. So it's not like, oh, like, this is my first time seeing else, so there's any, like, residual feelings still or whatever. Spirit's saying that she's at the place where, because she's had to deal with so much of his shit for so long, that she's just like, okay, whatever. Like, you're somebody else's mess. You're somebody else's problem. I am so exhausted by you and this narrative and this bullshit that you've, like, dragged me and the kids through for so long, that it's just like, maybe helping you is enabling you, and I just need to step away from all that too. Exactly. I mean, J.Lo, not Jennifer Garner, though. Jennifer Garner. I mean, not that Jennifer Garner didn't, like, cheat on people, too, but I just think it's incredibly unfair the way that she always gets dragged into everything, because it just reminds me a lot of, like, how people would never let Jennifer Aniston move on from the whole Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie situation. Like, I mean, even now when they're like, Angelina and Brad are going through their big divorce and stuff, and everybody keeps trying to be like, him and Jennifer Aniston are still gonna get back together or this or that, and I'm like, I think Jennifer Aniston, like, moved on a long fucking time ago. Oh my gosh. You know what? I actually thought, where did I see it? Oh, I was looking up, like, what is the best smelling body washes, just because I wanted to try new body wash. And something got recommended to me, like, on, like, one of the things that I, like, pulled up, whatever, was Hims. Do you guys remember that when A-Rod tried to come out with a skincare company and he called it Hims? And everybody was like, is he copying Skims? Like, what the hell is this? And I don't know why, but it was just like so funny to me because I was like, I haven't seen this anywhere in so long, and I forgot like about that whole thing in the first place. But I was like, because remember he tried to come out with his own concealer for men. That was like his first product, and everybody was like, J.Lo knew that he was cheating on her back then because, like, who the hell would tell their boyfriend, yes, honey, you should come out with concealer for men and call it him? That's a great idea. It's so funny. I don't know why. Like every time I just think about it now, I remembering him trying to put concealer on in his Instagram story because he was all like super serious about it too, the way he was doing it. I'm sorry, but A Rod is just like unintentionally hilarious. Like I know everybody always says that little baby is one of those people where it's just like it's he just exists and it's like funny, like the shit that he does, like it's somehow like so entertaining. A Rod is that to me too, but even more like in a dumbass way because he thinks that he's being smart. Oh no, I knew that the company was called him, not the product. It was just that's why I said the first product that he came out with was concealer. Whatever got recommended to me the other day, like in the article that I was reading, I think it was face wash or something, if I remember right, or like some kind of sunscreen for men or something. But yeah, it was just funny. But I forgot about that he even came out with that. It was funny back then, and it's like funny again. Hey, Sonia. So, anyways, guys, did you have any other questions about Bennifer or J.Lo and Leah Remini? Because I gotta hop off of here in the next 10 minutes. Hey, A, how are you? Oh, yeah, they haven't been together in like 8 years then at this point, Mimi Mama. Like, Jennifer Garner has definitely gotten over it. And even though, like, he cheated with the nanny and all of that, I guarantee you she was probably, well, Spirit's confirming my thought actually. She was so over him and his bullshit, anyways, at that point because it's not like, oh, that was the first time that Ben Affleck ever did anything like messed up in that relationship. That was just the most publicly that he got caught, and it was such a big deal because Tom Brady was somehow involved in that, and it was the nanny, and everybody was like, what a stereotypical thing to do, and that was the big deal about it. But he'd been drinking and doing all kinds of other dumb shit for years before that. And Spirit's like, we all know how it is as women. You get to a point where you are so over it and exhausted, and it's just like you're almost waiting, like, what is going to be that straw that almost back and finally makes me leave? And you're just sitting there holding on because it's like we got married or we have kids or we own a house together. Like, you're only there because there's some obligation, not because you willingly want to be there anymore. But she was already at that point. So, wait, what? Did J Lo push Ben's mom in the lake the day of their wedding rehearsal dinner? Is she the one that went to the hospital? Because I was like listening to just some news thing on E, when I was cooking dinner the other day and they were talking about their wedding, and they said somebody went to the hospital. Also, I saw people making fun of their wedding because apparently they had a bunch of like live, laugh, love type signs everywhere. And people were like, that's weird. Like it, and they got married on a plantation. Did you guys know that? Like, who the fuck is getting married on plantations in 2022? I have never understood why would you want to start off a whole fucking life of so-called blessings in a place that caused so many people's deaths, destruction, curses that have continued on down people's bloodlines. Like, it's not a good place, and there's no good energy to be found on a fucking plantation that anybody should ever want to go get married on one. That is the weirdest thing. I don't know why anybody would ever think, you know where I should get married? Someplace where horrible things happen to people. Yeah, let's get married there. Like, what? And especially in 2022, do you guys not remember a few years back when everybody like brought up that like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds got married on a plantation and dragged them for filth? So, okay, let's see. Did J.Lo push Ben's mom into the water on the wedding rehearsal day? Thank you, Spirit. If you guys have questions about anything else, drop it down below because I have to get off in about 5 more minutes because I got to call a client. But we will be back next Friday. Well, that's like saying that you want to go get married at Auschwitz or have your high school prom at a freaking murder scene or something. Like, why? Bad things happened there, and the people really got hurt. Okay. She did not push his mom into the water, but the mom definitely doesn't like her, and I don't feel like they're particularly close. More so, it's that, like, Spirit's saying it's kind of this understood thing of, like, we don't like each other, but I'm not going to go out of my way to, like, start anything because that's your mom, and your mom's not going to go out of her way to, like, start anything with me or say too much because then she's pissing off her son. So it's more like we will just politely coexist, but not have real, like, super deep conversations or call each other mom and daughter or anything like that. He gets along great with her mom, though, but her and his mom, it's a no way. So, you know what? I did not get to watch all of it all the way through yet. Mira. So I was actually going to watch the Super Freaky Girl video after this because I had to replace my phone and she dropped it. When was it? Yesterday, right? Because I remember like starting to kind of watch it, but then I was like, oh, I have to go set up my new phone, and then I didn't get to sit down yet and have the time to actually watch all the way through because I wanted to give it a real chance because I know that there's a bunch of different stuff in it. But I think it was cute. I liked the Mr. and Mrs. Smith references, which that's like how relevant is that we were literally just mentioned Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and the love triangle, and Mr. and Mrs. Smith is where that all started at. So then this is the last question, and then I really do have to hop off of here, guys. Spirit saying Ben's kids really don't like J.Lo that much, but I keep getting that, like, they try to, like, be nice to her, because it's like both of their parents are like, give it a chance, whatever. Um, the son gets along with her the best out of all three of Ben's kids, is what Spirit is saying. They're saying that her kids like him, but I get, like, with her kids, they're kind of always more so like, okay, let's see how long this one lasts. And it's almost like, and this is the thing that I will say to you, where I feel bad for J.Lo's kids more than Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner's. Mark Anthony has a new freaking fiance every other day too. So I feel like with J.Lo, her kids have such a revolving door of adults in and out of their life that they're kind of almost, in a sense, more like, I'm just going to be friendly with this one because my dad seems to like them more than the last one. And then she'll be able to convince my dad to, like, let me go to the movies on Friday night. So it's more like, how can I use you to my advantage because you're not going to stick around, so I'm not going to get my hopes up or get that close to you. I feel like all the kids, like, between J.Lo and Ben Affleck, like, the kids get along well with each other and like each other, but it's kind of just like, I don't know about your mom or your dad. Yeah, Spirit saying her kids were so close to A-Rod and his kids, but after that, it was just more like, okay, I don't want to get close to anybody again because Casper left and now you left. Like, nobody sticks around. That's what's really sad because they haven't seen either one of their parents actually stick it out in a relationship and try to make it work. So it's going to be really hard for them because they're going to do one of two things. One, every single time there's a little bit of conflict in their own relationships because that's what they see their parents do, or I'm going to hold on to something that should have been let go of because I have abandonment issues and I don't want to lose all my relationships. So I feel so bad for those poor little babies. But anyways, guys, make sure that you like the video on your way out. Thank you for joining us. I have to go because I have to call clients. But I miss you guys. I will see you next Friday because we will be going live most Fridays. So make sure you check the community tab because I will update you guys on there. If you wanted to join the Patreon, it is patreon.com/Psycic Bella Love. You can always book your own personal private reading on psychicbellalove.com. Make sure you like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys again next week. I love you. Have a good weekend, guys.